Okay, let's talk about Nationwide, because for a long time on this channel, we've just talked about digital banks like Monzo, Starling, and Chase UK, and that has made sense for a while because the high street was clearly in decline. But in 2026, the goalposts have moved. We're now seeing some digital banks pull back on rewards and features, while legacy banks like Nationwide have gone in the opposite direction. They've committed to keeping branches open, they are increasing the value they return to account holders, and they've shown that a so-called legacy bank can still compete. So in this episode, we're going to put Chase UK up against Nationwide and ask two simple questions. Which one is the better bank in the UK right now? And can a legacy bank outperform a digital bank behemoth? So Jan, it's safe to say we got a lot of comments on our best bank accounts in the UK episode, which we did recently, with many people rightfully calling us out for not mentioning Nationwide.
Yeah, Johnny, you're absolutely right. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who actually went ahead and commented on that episode. A lot of interesting details, a lot of interesting conversations happening in the comments. A lot of you pointed out that Nationwide deserved a much closer look. A few common points that came up. Nationwide offers joint accounts, overdrafts. Those are things that Chase UK, for example, doesn't offer. You get branch access, so in case something goes wrong, you know who to talk to. Just walk into a branch, speak to a human directly, face to face. Big benefit in this digital age. And then there are also a few member benefits, which I find quite interesting. If Nationwide has a profitable year, they do issue a fair share payment, that's how they call it, where essentially their profits are distributed among their members. In order to be a member, it's not a big hurdle, right? You just have to have an account active. But we talk about that later on.
Let's jump into Chase UK, Jan, and do a quick recap on what Chase UK offers and what their weaknesses are.
One thing I really love about them is the fact that they only have one account. So there's no tier structure, there's no paid account. Everyone essentially gets the same deal. If you sign up with Chase UK, you get the free Chase current account, and that's a pretty good bank account. You get an excellent app. You showed me some screen recordings. It looked really good. I would say maybe not quite market leading, but definitely among the top providers out there. You get saving pots with separate account numbers, which can be really useful. So you can go ahead and pay your bills directly from these pots. 1% of cashback on certain categories. I believe it's groceries, fuel and transport within the UK. That's capped, however, at £15 per month. And you get also a very competitive easy access savings account if you're a new customer, 4.5%. And if you have a quick look at Deposit Scout, that's actually the best option right now, I believe.
For easy access.
Definitely.
Yes, for easy access. At least at the time of recording. Yeah, there's a fixed saver right now. It's from Marcus, Jan. It's 4.55%. We don't need to go into too much detail. It's really competitive, really cool. You'll see that on depositscout.com. But Jan is right. Yeah, that easy saver for new customers, that's really competitive.
And it's also a really good travel card. Fee-free spending abroad, no FX markup, that's pretty good. Also get fee-free overseas ATM withdrawals up to £1,500, I believe, per month. So that's a limit that's quite generous. Realistically, if you're just vacationing, it's likely that you'll not reach that limit. And you also get to see your credit score within the app. I think that's pretty good. But there are a few limitations we'd like to mention. No joint accounts, no cash or check deposits, no overdrafts, and 19 kickboxer 68 also mentioned that Chase is blocking crypto payments, which is for me personally, it's not a big problem, but I understand why some people are criticizing that. You don't want nanny banking, especially if this is your primary account. It's a good term actually. I'm a fan of letting people choose what they want to do with their money, and that's not the case here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that too, Jan. And I think a lot of banks, not just Chase UK, but high street banks as well, have restricted crypto over the years. I don't know where Nationwide sit on that though. So if you do, jump in the comments and let us know. Are they crypto friendly or are they crypto enemy?
Good question.
I went ahead and signed up for Nationwide immediately after the Best Bank Account UK episode that we put out there because I wanted to test the account. But that was only about 3 weeks ago, so I've not had the account for a very long time. So again, feel free to jump in the comments if you are a heavy Nationwide user. If I make any mistakes or if there's something that I forget to include, jump in, use that as your opportunity to let us know any extra features that I may have forgotten. I received, in the process of signing up, Jan, I received 3 letters in total after signing up, which tells me that, it really is a legacy bank. I also received something else after signing up. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this device.
It's a calculator, of course.
Of course, this is definitely not a calculator. This is a chip authentication program, aka a CAP. Basically, it's a way of identifying a user. It's a way a bank can identify that you are the correct person. I haven't received one of those in a while, and I certainly didn't receive one of those with Chase UK. But my biggest concern when signing up for Nationwide was just the length of time it took to get into the digital banking side of things. They do have online banking, and they do have so you can log in on the desktop. But to get in on the app, it took me a week because I had to get my details, which came through in a letter. And that took a whole week, which was a bit of a concern. But otherwise, after signing up, I got into the app and I've been using it a little bit and I have been enjoying it. The design is okay. It's definitely not as savvy as Chase UK. I appreciate that that's subjective, but I don't like it as much as the Chase UK layout. We can put some screenshots for those that are watching on YouTube so you can take a look for yourself, some side-by-side comparisons. What I did enjoy though was my experience walking into a physical branch. That was quite fun. It felt quite novel, but the branch itself was really well designed, Jan. It had like a tiki wooden feel. There was like a booth with like a glass face where you could obviously have like a private meeting, possibly to discuss your mortgage. So the signing up flow and the experience both digitally and physically have been good, fine, no complaints there. I think the app isn't as smooth or doesn't feel like a Revolut or a Starling or a Monzo. It feels more like an HSBC, like my Global Money current account. It feels a bit more like that, but that's subjective. You get to decide what you think looks good, and you might prefer Nationwide over Chase UK. Jan said something really interesting. He said he likes Chase UK because you only have one account. And I think that's, again, subjective, but I also really do appreciate that because with Nationwide, you have a lot more accounts available than just one. I have the Flex Direct account. It's free. We're going to talk about that one compared to Chase UK because Chase UK is also free, but there's Flex Plus, which is like a fully loaded £18 a month account. You get travel insurance, you get breakdown cover. There's lots of different benefits. You get better travel rates as well, which we'll discuss shortly. But we're talking about Flex Direct. So Nationwide provides joint account support. Chase UK doesn't. So you tick that off. That's fantastic. Families, couples, you're going to need Nationwide if you want to do a joint account. You get overdraft support, and you get, Jan, I believe £50 of interest-free overdraft as well, which obviously, Chase doesn't provide. Some banks provide better than that. Some banks don't. Like First Direct have a really good, compelling overdraft offer. Nationwide sort of sits in the middle, but that's good. As I mentioned, physical banking gives you cash and check deposits. Fantastic. I'm still getting cash at Christmas. Like, did anyone else just get cash for Christmas? My dad gave me cash. It's just sat in like a tub back there. I was going to use it for getting my car cleaned because they only accept cash. That's a conundrum that I have to solve. Like, I normally would go to the post office, Jan, and tap my card and hand them the money over, and they'd deposit into my Starling account, and then I would move it digitally from Starling to whatever bank account I'm currently using, which right now is Monzo, and also a bit of Nationwide at the moment. But yeah, I could stroll into Nationwide and say, hi, everybody, hand over my cash, and they'll deposit it for me. It's fantastic. And I think some people do need that in their lives still.
That is a benefit, yeah.
Yeah. There's also a £175 switch offer right now. I don't think Chase UK would ever do a switch offer because they're already generous to some degree with the savings rates and the cashback. But you've got a £175 switch offer. If you want to learn a bit more about that in full detail, go to depositscout.com. We've got switch offers on there. Ethical banking, Jan, something that we could quickly jump into now as well and discuss comparatively to Chase UK. Nationwide is arguably quite an ethical bank. They are positioned to invest in UK property, whereas JPMorgan Chase, who own Chase UK, so if you deposit money in Chase UK, your deposits sit on JPMorgan Chase's balance sheet. They're predominantly positioned to invest in fossil fuels, arms, tobacco, etc.
No, not predominantly. They're investing in things that generate money, right?
Okay,
that's what they do. It's not like they have a focus on arms.
No, that's good. That's good.
It's a misrepresentation of the facts, Johnny.
Thank you. Yeah, my co-host / lawyer there, stopping me from receiving a cease and desist letter. I appreciate that. No, he's absolutely right, but I don't think there's an argument on who's better. In terms of ethical banking, I think Nationwide stands out as a far better choice. They're not Triodos. You may not have heard of them, Jan, but they're an ethical bank, truly ethical, purely ethical bank here in the UK. But they are much better than Chase or JPMorgan Chase and most of the high street. But they also have some weaknesses as well. The card reader, I think some people might argue this is a bit of a weakness. I appreciate that, unlike Chase UK, who are just assuming, who are verifying that you are you through your smartphone. So they assume, obviously, that anyone using Chase UK has a smartphone because you have to have one. Whereas Nationwide don't make that assumption. They appreciate that not everyone has a smartphone, and that's why you have it. So it's part of it. But are you supposed to take this with you everywhere, Jan? The top pocket?
I guess so, right? I guess if you want to make a transaction through your online banking while being somewhere else,
yeah,
you have to take it with you, right?
I haven't had to use it yet because I haven't sent money. Maybe someone else can jump in. But I think if you are probably sending money to someone for the first time, then you might have to use this. So you have to put it in your pocket and bring it with you everywhere you go. Seems strange.
And it doesn't really fit into your wallet, does it?
No, it won't fit into my wallet. No. Hang on, I've got a few cards.
For everyone listening, this is about 5 times as thick as a normal debit card, I would say, and has about the same width measurement.
Yeah, maybe I could put it into my wallet and bring it with me.
You have a really funny wallet, Johnny.
Oh please, what's a funny wallet? Why is it funny? Look, it used to have my initials
you don't
on
carry
it.
any cash, right? It's just a card holder.
But look, that could arguably be a weakness, this card reader. But there are, I think, two big weaknesses. And let's talk about it now, Jan. Let's just jump into this now. Let's talk about travel being weakness number 1, because I think this is what lets Nationwide, at least the Flex Direct account, down the most. So Jan, you touched on Chase UK. I don't think we need to recap on that too much, but you touched on the travel stuff. No FX fees on fixed transactions abroad. Great withdrawal limit of £1,500. Just basically no fees for banking abroad.
At least a Flex Direct account that you signed up for, Johnny. I believe it's a pretty bad travel card. 2.99% FX fee. That's definitely not market leading, rather the opposite. To be fair, if you sign up for the Flex Plus account, you get fee-free worldwide spending, plus a few other features. If you're looking for a good travel card, do not choose Nationwide. There are better options out there. We just recorded an episode on the best travel card, so feel free to listen to that.
Like Jan said, Flex Plus, £18 a month. That is a perfectly fine travel card. I think Nationwide use Visa's exchange rates, which are more or less on par with the mid-market rate. So if you transact, say £100 with Flex Plus, it'll just convert £100 to EUR or whatever currency you're using or spending in. But if you use Flex Direct and you say transact £100, well, it's going to cost you £3. It's going to cost you 3%.
Oh, that's a lot, actually. Now thinking about this just really is a lot. 2.99% is absolutely not acceptable.
Yeah, that's a weakness of this Flex Direct account straight away. And I think most people watching this would be savvy enough not to transact abroad using it. I would hope not. Now, weakness number 2, let's talk about how these two accounts compare in terms of savings. You've already mentioned that Chase Saver, right? 4.5%. Pretty good. And that's market leading. That's easy access as well.
It's excellent.
Nationwide have a couple of regular savers available that are limited on how much money you can deposit. One of them is 6.5%, and you can only deposit up to £200 per month. Fine if you are someone with a small amount of savings, or you just want to have a boosted savings rate on some extra money. That's good. What I don't see with Nationwide is a really competitive account that you could deposit a large sum of money to and feel comfortable that you weren't being shortchanged with other competitors available.
Yeah, no noteworthy easy access account or anything similar. They have them available, but the interest rates are not market leading, which I find quite sad, because besides that, it's a pretty solid bank.
So there is a 5-year fixed at 4% where you can deposit up to £5 million, which is, well, I guess, we can't predict what interest rates are going to do over the next 5 years, but you would hope that they will come down further from 3.75%. So 4% could be relatively competitive in a couple of years. Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
I mean, the base rate is 3.75%. That's the interesting time that we live in here in the UK is interest rates are very competitive, Jan, right? 4% with a base rate of 3.75% is pretty good. But we just so happen to have JPMorgan Chase UK offering 4.5%, which is very difficult to compete with.
One thing is an easy access account. The other thing is a fixed saver though. So that's something to consider.
Where Nationwide make up for the lack of savings interest could be through their Fairer Share program. Do you want to talk about that a bit more in detail? Because it is fantastic.
It's pretty fascinating, Johnny. You mentioned that you can receive £100 profit share, or at least everyone who has been a Nationwide customer in March 2025 who had at least £100 in their savings account received £100 profit share for the past year, and I think that's pretty extraordinary. I have not heard of something similar, to be honest, and that would be unthinkable with other banks that are actually trying to earn a profit. But the fact that Nationwide isn't a bank, but they're a building society, makes this possible, and I think that's pretty good. And that also compensates for the less attractive cashback offer. They do offer cashback, 1% of cashback, but it's capped at £5 a month, so it's pretty insignificant, unfortunately. And that's also only for new customers.
Yeah.
But this Fairer Share payment, I think this compensates for that. That's pretty amazing.
It is dependent upon the performance of Nationwide, so it's not guaranteed every year. I did think that, like, okay, if they have a great year, they give you £100, but do they take any money back if they don't perform?
It's a really good question. I doubt it though, but it's a good question.
And yeah, like you said, the cashback is, well, I think there are people that will benefit from 1% cashback being capped at £60 if you just have a small amount to spend. You might not necessarily require the cap of £15 that Chase UK offers, which as well, you have to qualify for. You have to deposit £1,500 a month. Nationwide aren't asking you to deposit money to qualify. So someone who's earning, say, £500 to £1,000 can deposit that and still qualify for cashback.
It is a solid option.
Both providers offer phone support and in-app support. In terms of phone support, who do you think answered first?
Well, my gut feeling would probably lean towards Chase UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they don't have physical branches, so I think they do have to get this right in order to not anger customers.
I thought you were going to say Nationwide because of the legacy element at play. I'm so surprised. I thought it was okay.
Well, phones are legacy.
Well,
phones are not a new invention.
No, exactly. So I thought like the legacy bank Nationwide, being a legacy bank, would be great at answering the phone, and Chase UK would be bad at it. So I didn't.
Fair point. Yeah.
I'm surprised you said Chase UK. I get it though. I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely correct. Yeah. Absolutely correct. I couldn't believe it. Chase UK answered in 7 minutes and Nationwide answered in 11, which really is not a huge difference. But in-app as well was the same. Chase UK took 6 minutes in-app to speak to a human. Apparently, they seemed like a human. They were a bit rude, actually, which maybe means that they definitely were human. Nationwide took a little bit longer, 8 minutes in total, but they were a lot kinder. Again, I'll show you what that looks like, but they felt a lot kinder. They really wanted to help, even though I was asking silly questions just to see if I could get through and qualify that they were human, trying to trick them if they were an AI. But they really felt human, and they were kind, and they wanted to help. Chase UK were faster, but Nationwide felt kinder.
For you personally, Johnny, what's a better option here?
I think I would say that Nationwide is the better all-round bank account. You could argue that Chase UK are better because of the travel card aspect. But from an all-round bank account perspective, you get overdraft, you get joint accounts, you get physical branches, you get cash and check deposits, you get a reliable customer service, you get limited savings rates. You'd be mad to deposit a large sum of money with Nationwide to earn interest. You could have your mortgage there. You can sleep better at night knowing that the bank your money sits with isn't being used to fund arms or tobacco or fossil fuel extraction. You seem in disagreement. Those noises you're making sound disagreeable.
Johnny, I don't want to distract you, but I have an opposite opinion because the features that you just mentioned, joint accounts, overdraft, What else was it? Physical branches. Those are things I personally don't take advantage of, not at all. And also the customer support, talking to someone. I was fortunate enough in the past few years that I did not have to contact my bank support. Obviously, it can always change, and it's not similar for everyone. But yeah, that's just my situation. So for me personally, if you're asking what's the better overall account, I would definitely lean towards Chase UK, because for my needs, it's just a better option because of the 2.99% travel fee. I do travel a lot. I mean, I've mentioned that before. I'm basically traveling all the time and always transacting in foreign currencies. So for me, it's just wiser to have a card that also serves as a travel card. But that shows again how different the requirements can be, right? And it really it's not about what's better. It's not black and white. You really have to look at your own personal requirements and then make an informed decision. I think that's a good summary for this episode.
Could you combine the two?
You absolutely can, and I think that's probably the beauty of it. So who said that you just have to have one bank account? You can definitely combine the strength of one with the strengths of the other, and you have a pretty solid option that you could use for both travel, but also transactions within the UK, cash transactions, branches, etc. If those are things you want to take advantage of, go ahead and combine both.
Like someone that has a smaller income that might necessarily want to make use of the cashback and also the fairer share payment, just making sure that you have some savings, possibly taking advantage of the regular saver that I believe is earning 6.5% with a drip-fed £200 per month nationwide.
Yeah, it's really decent.
And
Absolutely.
then you have the bulk of your savings in the Chase Saver that earns 4.5%, I think up to maybe £1 to £2 million. So I'm sure most of us will be all right with that. Chase also has the benefit, the travel card benefits. They're not a bad combination. And if you'd like to learn more about travel cards, we just published an episode on the best travel cards here in the UK. That's available now. We'll put that up on the screen. And if you enjoy the podcast, if you enjoy watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to your podcast player app, whatever you're using. Please do subscribe to Banking Without Borders to support us so we can continue to make episodes like this one. And we'll see you next week for another episode.